Alright, what's going on, guys? It's GSR here. So basically I wanted to talk to you guys today about the one and only Joker, and I wanted to explain his strings and stuff like that. So with that being said, I'm just going to tag all the strings he has access to, and we're just going to pretty much dissect all of these and analyze these strings and see which strings are useful and which strings are not. So I think these are all of his strings that are tagged. Okay, cool. So when it comes to his 1-2-1 string, it is a high. It leaves him -2 on block. So if he was to go for his down 1 that starts up at 7 frames, it would no longer be 7 frames on block. It would actually be 9 frames. So if you do 7 plus -2, that is actually 9 frames. So he has a 9 frame mid that happens to have pretty good hit advantage. So if you guys look at his down 1, as you can clearly see here, 14 frames, which allows him to automatically jail you. And now you have to deal with you pretty much just have to deal with the fact that he might throw you or he might hit you with a forward 1, right? All right, cool. So now, when he goes for a standing 1, it might be possible for him to stagger this every now and then to mislead the opponent's timing, because they're going to be so used to seeing you do this shit that they're probably not even going to remember that he could possibly stagger this. And keep in mind, he is -3 on block, so it is very possible for this character to throw you just like this if you time it perfectly like that. Now, he has a little mind game here, because obviously, with majority of the characters in the game, if I could stagger this and throw you that quick, right, you're obviously going to neutral crouch and try to mash an uppercut or a down 1, or you're going to neutral crouch to try to get a full combo punish on this character. So I can actually go for my 1-2 and hit you, and once I hit you with this, I can either go directly into my birdie beatdown, or I could just pop you up into the air for a combo, which is a better option, right? So that's pretty much what will happen here. Now, keep in mind, he is -9 on block, so he's really unsafe on that. So him staggering that is him creating some type of a risk, because there are a decent amount of characters in the game that can punish him for doing this. So you might want to be careful with that particular situation. It is possible for him to do this. So if I get Kung Lao to actually block just like this, we're going to see what happens. See that? He becomes -3 on block. So if he wants the space, he can actually do that. And that's something that you have to worry about. Now, the last hit is actually a high, so if the Joker took it upon himself to do this, he would get punished accordingly. So you know he's going to do it, then he gets punished, and then Kung Lao goes directly into whatever punish he wants, and then he pretty much fucks the Joker shit up and, you know, calls it a day, and then he fucks him up, you know what I mean? So this can cause a serious issue for the Joker, because if the opponent makes the correct read, knowing for a fact you're going to go for the high, you will get your shit pushed back, right? Now, keep in mind, the Joker, when he goes for his 1-2-1 string, it comes out pretty slow. The last hit is 23 frames, as you guys can clearly see here, so you should be able to react to this if the opponent takes it upon themselves to do this. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you want to see if there's a flawless black gap in it, there's not. So keep that in mind. Now, like I said, he is -2 on block, so if he goes for the down 1, that's more than likely what he's going to do. So keep that in mind. And like I said, if you do the frame data, that becomes a 9 frame down 1 instead of a 7 frame down 1, if you do the math correctly, right? So he could beat out Kung Lao's like forward 1, which happens to be 10 frames. So Kung Lao would have to go for a down 1 or a down 3 in order to get this character to actually respect and stuff like that, because he could take his turn back very easily, because Joker has pretty good frame data for certain stuff that he has access to. And that's pretty much everything off of this. So I'm going to show you guys another thing. So say, for example, he jumps up and he catches you, he can go for this combo right here. He can use his birdie beatdown, or if he has access to his crushing blow, he can fuck your shit up just like this. And, you know, you get the idea here. You can charge up his birdie beatdown very easily. If he catches you on the ground, which more than likely possibly will happen, his startup time is 8 frames, so it is possible for this character to get a meterless combo on you, where he gives decent damage. If he jumps in the air, obviously he'll get more damage and stuff, but that's an easy 26% damage. If I was to actually jump up with the Joker just like this and do this combo right here, as you can clearly see right here, that's an easy 29% damage, almost 30% damage, and it guarantees me the knockdown situation, and I charged up my birdie beatdown very easily on the opponent, and I have a hit advantage of 19 frames. Now, a clear example of this is if Kung Lao took it upon himself to, you know, go for his up 3 because he thinks that I'm going to advance forward. Keep in mind, Joker has really good space when he does this combo ender, so Kung Lao doing this is not a really good idea, because I can actually hit him with a crushing blow, and this will cause a serious issue if I end up timing it correctly, right? Now, this is different for other characters, because some characters have really good range on their shit. But as you can see here, I can literally just hit Kung Lao like this, and he'll get hit, and then I can put him into whatever combo that I want. And you guys kind of get the idea with that particular situation right there. Now, we're going to move on to his next string. Alright guys, so when it comes to pretty much the Joker's 1-2-2 string, we already talked about his standing 1 and his 1-2, but there's no reason for him to commit into the full string of this. This string is completely useless. Startup time is 28 frames and he's -12 on block. Not only that, he has access to a flawless block gap, so this string is very unsafe. If you feel ballsy and you just want to do it and say YOLO and just fucking do it, then that is your call. I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot do, but this is definitely not a string that is that useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to untag it because that's not a string that I would use, right? So when it comes to the Joker's 1-2-3 string, this string complements his 1-2-1 string, right? So off of his 1-2-3 string, he has no flawless block gap in it whatsoever, right? So let me actually show you guys that real quick. As you can clearly see, there's no flawless block gap. That's good, right? Cool. Now, the reason why this is really good for the Joker is because he's safe on both options, but he has a high mid type of mind game. So if you feed into temptation because you want to punish this character for going for his 1-2-1, keep in mind his startup time is a lot slower than this, because his startup time of his 1-2-3 string, like the last hit, it's 23 frames, as you guys can clearly see here. When I go for my 1-2-1, it's 2 more frames up there. So it's, you know, obviously my 1-2-3 string is 2 more frames faster than my 1-2-1 string, right? So obviously you more than likely will be able to react to this, but keep in mind he will catch you off guard every now and then. So if the Joker ends up hitting you with the last hit, he could charge up his birdie beatdown. So let me actually see if I can back up and whiff that real quick. So he could charge up his birdie beatdown. He doesn't get crazy amounts of damage whatsoever. Now, if he was in his other variation and stuff like that, he could pop you up into the air for a combo in the corner, and this can cause a serious problem in itself. Now, if he manages to hit you with this and he has access to his crushing blow, he gets a total of almost 28% damage, which I don't think you would use it for something like that. That's just my opinion. You'll probably just use a bar meter just to get the knockdown, and that's pretty much it. But this complements his 1-2-1 because it forces the opponent to make a decision here and make a good read, knowing what he's going to do. Now, keep in mind, the Joker player might commit into the back, you know, the back 4-2, which is his birdie beatdown, just to see if you're going to do something about it. So as you can clearly see here, you can punch him every single time. So if he takes it upon himself to disrespect, more than likely he will get hit. But since Kung Lao has like a standing 1 and a standing 2 that starts up at 8 frames, it's kind of hard for him to actually do something about that. So he could just go for a poke, or you could just block correctly and just wait. But the problem with this particular situation is that the Joker has access to a 50-50, right? So both options are really unsafe on block, but what the Joker can actually do with this particular situation is that he can take it upon himself to hit you with a brain dead 50-50 like this, and he is -23 on block, but a character like Kung Lao is not going to be able to punish him at this range. There's no way he's going to be able to do that, not with all the pushback there. So what Kung Lao can do is he can jump up, he can hit this character just like this and call it a day. Another thing he could do is that he can do this, and then he can literally punish the Joker very easily just like this. And this applies to any character in the game. You can pretty much fuck the Joker shit up and then, you know, do whatever the hell you want to do. So you guys kind of get the idea with this particular situation, but here's where the counter comes into play. The reason why this is going to be a counter is because he can do shit like this to you. So overall, you can literally just hit him like this. Now, another thing that I'm actually going to show you guys is that when he goes for his low, I'm going to show you guys what will happen, right? So you know he's going to go for it. You can just poke him out of it if you don't want to get a full combo punish because you're afraid he might hit you with the back 4-2, which is his birdie beatdown. So what happens here is that the Joker, if he knows you're going to jump over him to get a crushing blow, or he knows you're going to jump up to get a crushing blow, then he's going to hit you with the birdie beatdown. So say, for example, I jump up. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to get hit. And then I'm in the range of his zoning, right, where he can actually start zoning and being super annoying from far away, right? So keep this in mind. The Joker can take advantage of this particular situation very easily, so you might want to be on point. But his startup time for his low is how fast again? I think it's like a lot slower. It looks like it's the same speed as his overhead. So let me see here, 23 frames. Okay, so it looks like it's a little bit faster, it seems like to me. So hold on, let me look at his projectile real quick. Where is it at? It's a low, so where is it at? Yeah, it starts up at 33 frames, so it's definitely a lot slower, because if it wasn't, then, you know, I wouldn't be able to react to it like that. But you guys get the idea here. He can make it really difficult for you to actually, you know, press a button or try to do something. Now, if you think he's just going to do this and that's it, so that way he can take another turn. More than likely he probably will do this, and what you can do off of this is that you can easily punish the Joker, but he might go for a down one, which is a safe option for him because he can shut out your highs, he can shut out your grabbing situation. And another thing to keep in mind is that he might be able to go for an Abari with his down one, so keep that in mind. Now, another thing to take of note from this is that the character could go directly into a parry. So you might want to be careful with this situation because this can get really dangerous very quickly, because he can take advantage of the fact that you are trying to punch him after the fact that he just did this, and you think he's going to go for his down one, which more than likely he probably will, right? So that's pretty much everything about his 1-2-3 string. It complements his 1-2-1 string, and he has better options off of his 1-2-3 string. Now, the thing about this is that when he goes for his 1-2, instead of him going for a high, he can go for his backboard 2, which sets up this 50-50 situation, but there's no reason for him to do that because he can just commit into his 1-2-3 string that has no flawless block gap in it, and he can create that 50-50 situation very easily. And if you decide to respect and block, you have to take under consideration that the character is minus 15 on block, but he could take it upon himself to literally do this, and now he is literally minus 22 or minus 20 on 3 on block, and Kung Lao cannot actually punish him at all. But Kung Lao could close the distance a little bit, but Joker will be safe enough to where he can actually press a button. So it's different for each matchups in the game, but if Kung Lao makes the correct read, he can jump over the Joker, get a crushing blow, or he can jump up and crush and blow him very easily. Very easy shit, right? Now, if you want to know whether or not you can get a a fatal blow on this character, well, you're gonna find out right now. There you go. So as you can clearly see, you can fuck the Joker up for doing that, so keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that when he goes for the low, more than likely he might get hit, but as you can clearly see here, he gets his shit fucked up. So keep in mind he's really minus on both options, and that is pretty much everything about his 1-2-3 string, at least in my opinion. And now we're going to move on to his forward 1-4-2 string. Alright guys, so when it comes to the Joker's forward 1-4-2 string, starts up at 11 frames, which is really good. He can punish a decent amount of moves in the game that are really minus on block. And he can actually stagger this despite the fact that he is actually minus 8 on block, which is mad interesting, right? So he can stagger this and go for a throw very easily on you just like this, and he can knock you far away, which is not really a good thing at all. The reason why is because look at the distance, and this sets up his zoning, and he can be really annoying by doing shit like this all day and pretty much zoning you the fuck out. So this can get really, really annoying, right? Now, if you feed into temptation, right, by trying to uppercut this character or whatever the case may be, he might commit directly into this, and this will allow the character to actually hit you with his birdie beatdown. And if he has access to his crushing blow, he will get substantial amount of damage on you very easily. So if he hits you with the second hit of this move, this will cause a problem for you because he gets pretty good damage off of it. As you guys can clearly see, this is not the craziest damage, but he can use this to close out the round. It is very possible for this character to actually do this. So in his other variations, he will be able to get a combo on you, so you might want to be careful with that particular situation. Now, if he spaces out his forward 1 correctly, he can actually do this to you, and this applies to any character in the game. Now, take it like how should I put it? If Kung Lao was to duck, he actually becomes a lot more safer, and sometimes he becomes plus on block. So keep that in mind, right? Now, it is possible to flawless block him when he does shit like that. So actually, let me show you guys his 1-2 situation here. See that? But the shit comes out so fast that it's kind of difficult for you to actually do it. So just keep that in mind. Same thing applies here when Joker spaces this out. You can flawless block him. Now, when it comes to certain normals or strings he has access to that have a good amount of block stun, it's going to be kind of difficult for this character to actually get flawless blocked. So keep that in mind. Now, the character can go directly for a 50-50, like very easily. He can go directly for shit like this, and this can cause a problem, right? Now, the thing about this is that you can fuzzy guard this and go like this and shit like that. You can do that. The problem is that you don't know when he's going to do it. Okay, that's the problem, right? And a smart Joker player, if they know that you can fuzzy guard it and they know that you know about it, they're not gonna sit there and just be like, oh yeah, let me just commit into the 50-50 and just, you know, be stupid and just keep doing it all day. It's like, no, nigga, like he's going to stagger a lot. Okay, that's more than likely what he's gonna do, right? Now, he can use his forward 1-4 in the middle of his combos. So a clear example of this is when he goes for his, this string right here. He can literally do this, and as you can clearly see, he gets himself a nice combo. So there's that, right? And when he has access to his fatal blow in this variation, especially his other variation where he can call in his Jack in the Box, where he can get constant plus frames, this combo string becomes OP as hell for a lot of different reasons, because he can do shit like this to you very easily and he can fuck your shit up. And this applies to all three of his variations pretty much, because if you fuck up, he can actually hit you like this and then hit you with his birdie beatdown and fuck your shit up. So this is definitely one of the main strings he will be using against you at close range, for sure. This is definitely a really good string to go for, because he's -6 on block. Say for example he spaced it his forward 1. Say for example, like he spaced out his forward 1. He gets a good amount of space, and depending on what you thought, he might be able to backdash and whiff punish you very easily and stuff like that. So I think that's everything about this string from my understanding of it. And now we're going to move on to his other strings, which happen to be his 2-1 3 string and his 2-1 4 string. So when it comes to his 2-1 3 string, he has access to a 50-50. So when he goes for a standing 2, it is a high. He is -3 on block. His standing 2 is 9 frames on startup, and he has decent range on this high, more range than his standing 1, obviously. So he could definitely do this. Now keep in mind, there is a flawless block gap in this move when he goes directly for his Jack in the Box. But say for example he spaced this out, right? Say for example he spaced this out. He can use a bar meter just like this, get plus frames, and then dash up just like this, and he is +12 on block. Now if he takes it upon himself to do it right here, he could literally do this, and now he's +1, and he has really good amounts of space to where he could possibly zone you or do whatever the fuck he's trying to do. So there is a flawless block gap if he does this wrong. And what I mean by this is, like, if he holds it too long, you might be able to hit this character just like this. See that? And he'll get his shit fucked up. But as you can clearly tell, there's no flawless block gap whatsoever when he does it at close range like this. So keep that in mind, because he will more than likely do this. He might try to stagger or something and then try to throw you and catch you off guard. It is possible for him to use this 2-1 in the middle of his combos, but I think this 2-1 is better used in his setup variation, or his combo heavy variation. Now keep in mind, he has access to a low, right? And what he gets off of this is a 50-50 yet again. So you have to guess on which one he's going to go for. Keep in mind, he has really good block stun. If he just goes for his 2-1, he's -12 on block, but he has so much block stun that certain characters might not be able to do anything, especially if he spaces it out correctly, because if he does it at close range, keep in mind he is -12 on block when he does this. So if he feels ballsy and he just does that and that's it, that is a full combo punish for majority of the characters in the game. Hell, even the Joker can punch himself in the face very easily, right? So I think that's pretty much everything off of this string. Now when it comes to his 2-1 4 string, the only special thing about this string is the fact that he can use this as a projectile, as you can clearly see here. So he can do this. Keep in mind, he is unsafe on block, where he is literally, you know, -5. But because I actually did this, right, I can actually do this, and now all of a sudden he's plus on block. So if I was just to do this and that's it, look how plus he actually is. See that? So you could tell there's a total difference here, where I'm +2, so where I can easily just do this to you very easily, or I could go for a low if I know you're going to try and challenge me or something like that. So you get the idea here. He could definitely use this for a projectile, and if the opponent ends up getting hit, they just get knocked down on the ground, which allows Joker to gain space, or he could set up this and then throw out more projectiles and do shit like this and be super annoying from far away. So this is definitely a zoning tool for the Joker in this variation, and that's pretty much everything with these 3 strings right here. And now we're gonna get to his 4-2-1-2 string. When he goes for his 4-2, he has really good range on it. It's 13 frames, and it has fantastic range. Like I said, some people sleep on this, but they don't understand that his down 4 complements his 4-2 for a reason, because they both have almost the same range, and he gets like really good hit advantage. So he can easily do some shit like this to you and get plus frames, or he could do this if you try to like attack him or something like that. He could protect himself with like his little CCQ move or whatever you want to call that shit. And this is a good whiff punisher. Keep in mind he has access to a crushing blow that gives him really good amounts of damage, and in the corner he gets stupid damage, so he can fuck your shit up very easily. Easy, almost 40% damage plus the knockdown, which is really good. And he got a little bit of corner carry, as you guys clearly saw right there, so that's a good amount of corner carry. So if, like, if I was to sit here and hit Kung Lao like this, I'm carrying your ass to the fucking corner, literally, right? And you're losing space and you're knocked down on the ground, so you have to make a decision here, and if you fuck up, I will take advantage of that, right? Now this move is literally +3 on block when you space it out like this. Now if he just does it straight up like this, he is 0 on block, so he's really safe on this. Keep in mind the character becomes -4 if you space it out like this, but if he does it like this, he's -5. But he's still really safe. So if I space it out like this, I could do this and make myself safe on block. Now you guys are probably wondering, is there a flawless block gap in it? Yes it is, but it is kind of difficult to flawless block, right? Because of how fast this move actually comes out. So keep that stuff in mind. He can do something like this. And another thing to keep in mind is that he has access to a 50-50. Yay! More stupid shit, right? And the character can literally just abuse you with this string very easily. I can see why people use this variation, mainly because of that fucking load that complements this back forward 2 a lot, and he just has constant 50-50s and shit. Very brain dead, but if you know what you're doing and you understand what the opponent's patterns are and shit like that, you might be able to do well against this character. But this is definitely his best far-reaching normal. He can whiff punish you very easily. If characters are trying to space him out, he can literally whiff punish you very, very easily. So a clear example of this is like Kung Lao going for like something like this, and then I guess he tries to backdash or something like that. As you can clearly see here, if it's timed correctly, Kung Lao might end up getting hit and crushing blows, and this will allow the Joker to actually do this. So Kung Lao has to be careful. So say for example, like Kung Lao took it upon himself to backdash and then try to press a button, right? Because he thinks you're gonna try and walk forward or something. This is what's gonna happen, and the Joker can reach you without even moving, and then he can pretty much fuck your shit up and then do whatever the fuck he wants to do. And you guys kind of get the idea with that particular situation right there. And I highly recommend you train against the Joker, and you train with the Joker if you are using the Joker to figure out what you can do against the opponent. Now if they know for a fact you're gonna go for your 4-2, look at that. You can literally just do that and call it a day. Now, like I said, his down 4 complements his 4-2, and this is a really good whiff punisher. And what I mean by that is like his 4-2 is a really good whiff punisher. I mean, I don't know if you guys know anything about this range, but this range is dope as shit. Like this is like the best Joker hands down that they've ever made. So Joker is really good in this fucking game. He's really strong, right? You can also use this in combos. Like a clear example is like me doing something like this. So if I hit the player like this, I can literally do this, and I can get a combo on them very easily and get like really good damage and shit like that. So you can clearly see here, if I catch you, that's an easy 33% and shit like that. And you guys kind of get the idea with that particular situation. And like I say, he can create a 50-50 situation off of it, and when he commits into the last hit, there's a huge majority of the characters in the game that won't be able to punish him because of the pushback, which is kind of dumb. I think he should be close to you if he commits into the full string, but that's just my opinion. And you could pressure him afterwards, because if he presses any button, like say for example he backdashes because he thinks I'm gonna go for like a forward 1 or some shit like that, right? He's at risk of actually getting hit, right? So Kung Lao knows he's gonna do that. Problem with him doing that is that his chances of getting hit is very high, and then I can fuck his shit up, you know, and then I can go directly into a combo and then do whatever the fuck I'm trying to do to the Joker. And this is not really a good idea on the Joker's behalf. The reason why is because he'll get a shit folded just like this, and then, you know, Kung Lao can get a combo and then fuck his ass up. And it's just a really, really bad situation for Joker to be in if he's trying to challenge somebody. Now, the Joker can challenge you depending on what your range actually looks like, because Liu Kang has a back 3 that starts at 16 frames, I think it is, and Joker might be able to backdash because he is -11 on block. So he might be able to whiff punish Liu Kang if he decides to go for his best far-reaching normal, which is his back 3. So I think that's everything about this. He can space you out. He can use this as a good whiff punisher. Plus, if you try to neutral crouch, he has a forward 3 that'll check your ass very easily. I'm not saying it's like really quick like his forward 1, because it's definitely not, but it is very possible for him to catch you off guard with this. So keep that stuff in mind. Now, when it comes to you know, the Joker's back 3 2-4 string, right? He has a flawless black gap in the last hit, right? To where you can up 2 him, up 3 him, and call it a day, right? Now, the thing about this is, you know what I'm saying, is that the Joker can take that away from you. As you can clearly see here, you can flawless block this, but you're going to be so focused on flawless blocking that you're going to forget that he can actually do something like this to stop you. See that? If I'm close to you like this, I'm going to stop you like every single time, right? So if I take this off, and I'm just going to block, right? I'm just going to block, right? That's all I'm going to do with Kung Lao, right? So I block this and I stand up. See that? So say for example, I do this. Now he is actually 0 on block to where he can challenge me every single fucking time. So this can cause a major issue, and it's different for other characters because of the character sizes. So as you can clearly see here, right? Let me show you guys a clear example of this, right? See this? See how he's -3? So I'm gonna go to a bigger character and then I'm gonna go to a female character, and you guys are gonna see the difference in frame data, right? So this is very important because learning matches and learning the Joker's frame data is very important, right? So I'm gonna go to like Geras. Geras is big, just like, you know, Kotal Khan and Shao Kahn and shit like that. So that's what we're gonna do, right? And I'm gonna have Geras block the same exact way, and you're gonna see that the frame data changes depending on the character, right? Depending on the size of the character. That's what I've noticed when I was training with the Joker, when I was using him back in the past. I might pick him up again just to show you guys some things, but I'm gonna have Geras actually block, right? I'm gonna have Geras block this, and you're gonna see what happens, right? See this? See this? I'm doing the same shit to Geras, and it's different. You see this? It's very different because Geras is a bigger character and he has a bigger hurt box. You see that? So this is different, right? Now, say for example, he crouched, right? He's -1 now. You see that? So I'm gonna go to a female character, and you're gonna see exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, right? So I'm gonna go to Johnny Cage's clone, right?
The Joker,
which is this hoe right here that I fucking hate with a passion.
The Hourglass.
So like I said, it's different because it depends on like the size of the character, and you could tell, like, if you do this to every character in the game, you're going to start to realize, okay, so the big characters have different frame data, the female characters, since they're the smaller characters in the game, they have different frame data, or like Joker has different frame data when it comes to that, right? So watch this, watch it go behind her, see that? And now he's +1 on block. Crazy, right? Now watch this shit right here. See that? So let me actually show you guys something real quick. It's kind of strange, man. Like it's kind of strange. Like when it comes to Kung Lao, it's different. So I'm blocking the same way just like Kung Lao. See that? I'm blocking the same way just like Kung Lao, right? And he's becoming -14 on block. Now I'm gonna go back to Kung Lao and I'm gonna block the same way, and you're gonna see that the frame data is completely different.
The Joker.
So where's my nigga Kung Lao at? My man.
The Hourglass.
All right. My nigga Joker. Love the Joker. Shit. Fucking tired. Alright, so I'm gonna block the same way, just like I did with Cassie Cage, and you're gonna see a difference, right? So I'm gonna do this. See that? You see what I'm saying? See the difference? See how like it's going over top of Kung Lao's head and shit? So there's a total difference here. Yeah, you guys kind of get the idea with that particular situation. He could definitely do this to certain characters in the game to catch them off guard if they try to flawless block. And the thing about this is that this is really good because it knocks him on the ground to where he can actually go for a Oki, right? So he can literally do this and he could dash up. Right now, his hit advantage isn't crazy, but it's enough to allow him to go for his forward 1 possibly before you can get up, or he can whiff punish you very easily. And you know, he has a low starter and a overhead starter, but his back forward 2 starts up a lot, you know, a lot slower, right? So most opponents are going to take it upon themselves to, you know, crouch block, and he definitely has like hop attacks So he could definitely do shit like that. He can fake you out and then throw you and shit like that, just like every other character can in the game. And if he hits you, right, he will be able to get himself a little birdie beatdown combo, right, that gives him access to 18%. If he has access to the crushing blow, well, we're going to check it out. 30%, right? So you need to be careful with that, right? Now, if he's in his other variation with his setup variation or his combo variation and he catches your ass with this, he can definitely put you directly into a combo and fuck your shit up very easily. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that he could purposely whiff this, and as you can clearly see, his back two has phenomenal range. Like, that shit reaches you at really good ranges, right? Like right here I whiff and I'm able to reach Kung Lao at this range. Like that is really good range, right? So he can whiff this on purpose just to do this to you. So what happens if you take it upon yourself to actually block this move, right? As you can clearly see, he becomes -10 on block, and he has space to where he could possibly challenge you depending on what you actually throw out. But if I was to do it like right here, right, I'm gonna have Kung Lao actually block just like this. He is -13 on block, right? So you shred off 3 frames and he's -10 now. So he can make himself really safe on block just by doing that. It is possible for this character to do this if you decide to crouch. If you stand up, we're going to see what happens. So like I said, it's different for other characters, so you're going to have to train against this. But you guys kind of get the idea with this particular situation right here with Joker's string. And now we're on the last string, which happens to have a crushing blow in it. So I'm going to take off this and we're going to read it. Cannot be used if, you know, this move is flawless blocked, which is obviously this 4-3. If you flawless block this, he can't use a special move whatsoever, right? But it says triggers if second hit of the combo is the first to connect. Now keep in mind, if he does this to you, he is -2 on block, which allows him to go for a bar. So if he goes for a standing 1, it's no longer 8 frames, it's actually 10 frames on startup. If he goes for his down 1, it is no longer what? 7 frames. It is actually 9 frames. So this character could definitely challenge you very quickly, depending on what you throw out at him. So sometimes going for a poke is your best option here against the Joker because he has fantastic frame data. And if the opponent knows for a fact you're going to go for a mid or a certain high that starts up a lot slower than, you know, his startup time, he's going to punish you, right? So keep that in mind, right? He's going to fuck your shit up, right? Now, the Joker has access to a 50-50 yet again. This is the reason why most people use this, because this shit is brain dead. You have a better chance of opening up somebody with this brain dead ass character, right? Now I love the Joker, but I'm gonna say it like it is, right? He is a brain dead 50-50 character, right? So as you can clearly see here, he can easily do this, and I already showed you guys what you can do against the Joker when he does something like that. But I'll show you guys this yet again, right? So Joker takes it upon himself to feel ballsy. Now keep in mind there is a good amount of block stun here. So as you can clearly see here, it's very different. I'm jumping into the air and I'm getting hit. The reason why I'm showing you guys this is because if you think you're gonna jump, you're sadly fucking mistaken, right? So if he does this, as you can clearly see, I'm going for a down 3 and I'm getting countered. So if he does this, he has the ability to pretty much get away with the fact that he has access to a 50-50. So you have no choice but to block in the correct direction, right? Now, if I go for a fatal blow, it does not work. You see this? I'm trying every option out and I'm getting beat the fuck out, right? Now, you can do this and then call it a day, but you have to predict that he's going to do this so that way you can flawless block it. And I highly recommend you practice this because this is the only way you're going to be able to get out of it. And then, you know, you can fuck him up and then do whatever fancy ass combo that you want. Now, the character has the option of hitting you with this, which is a safer option than going for his back 4-2 because he has no reason to do it, not unless he's trying to hit you with his birdie beatdown crushing blow to close out the round. So, say for example, you're so focused on flawless blocking, look what happens. Keep in mind, my easy crushing blow is off. So now this causes a serious problem, right? So as you can clearly tell, Joker's kind of dumb as hell, especially if you're making good reads on the opponent. So I'm going to turn on the crushing blow real quick, and you're going to see the options that he has access to off of this. So if I hit you with this, it's very easy for the Joker to dash up very quickly. You know what I'm saying? And then hit you. Now, my controller is kind of fucked up, so it's going to be kind of hard for me to do this. Now, the funny part about this is that you're put into a certain dilemma, right? And the reason why I'm saying you're put into a certain dilemma is because it's like you have to guess on a 50-50, right? But keep in mind, he has so much block stun that you're not going to be able to jump out of it, right? So I'm actually going to show you his 2-1 because that's another thing I forgot to add. When he goes for this low, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. See this? You can't jump. Same situation applies there because he has a lot of block stun. So that's something else that I wanted to show you guys, right? And this is hilarious because, you know, if he has access to his birdie beatdown, he could do shit like this to you very easily, right? Now, it's funny because he could do this mid-screen as well, but I'm gonna just do it in the corner real quick. He could do shit like this to you and then fuck your shit up very easily. It's funny. It's just funny to me. You know what I mean? How like they nerfed Kung Lao when he's a low tier character. They nerfed his orbiting hat, but they didn't do anything to the Joker really. That's amazing. You know, you got these brain dead ass characters in this game, but all right, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But this is everything really. Now if he's in his other variation, he can definitely get a combo on you very easily and get big damage. He can set up his Jack in the Box in his setup variation and fuck your shit up and stuff like that. And it's just a lot of good shit that he could do off of this. Plus this normal, I'm not going to say string, this normal complements his forward two to a certain degree because you can catch the opponent off guard every now and then if they don't see it coming. So keep that in mind. But with that being said, I think this is everything about the Joker strings. He has a decent amount of strings that he will be using, especially at close range, but mainly like at this range right here. Keep in mind the Joker has access to a parry, so you don't know when he's actually going to do this. Okay, and I'm not going to explain what strings he could do it off of because you guys will find out obviously if you're training with this character or you are going against somebody that's using this character, because you know, character's stupid as hell. He can zone you like really well just like this, and be super fucking annoying from full screen, but then he has really good normals, good buttons to where he can cause a problem mid-range right here and then close range, right? He has pretty good staggers, good mind games. He has access to 50-50s on majority of the shit he has access to. Then he has access to a fucking parry, which is brain dead as shit. And then he has a bullshit ass fatal blow where it puts you in a serious dilemma here where you have to make a tough decision. And if he has access to his birdie beatdown and you fuck up, the character is gonna fuck you up. So make sure you make good reads. I'm not gonna say that you're gonna make good reads all the time because once the opponent knows that you know about the matchup or you know something about the string, they're gonna change it up, right? So with that being said, overall, Joker is strong than the motherfucker in this game, right? And I love the Joker. He's my #1 favorite villain of all time, right? But overall, I think I just explained his special moves already. But then again, I'll probably make a separate video talking about his special moves and how he can apply this and shit like that with certain things that he does. But I just wanted to talk about this and shit like that with the Joker because the Joker definitely has, you know, he definitely has some good shit here. So I just wanted to talk about his combo strings. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.